Hi guys, today's lesson is similar to yesterday. Instead of having these equations and only having to do one or two steps to solve for what they would like, now we're gonna have to do multiple steps to get to what they want us to solve for. So some helpful hints to get started. It says to think backwards PEMDAS. So, generally we do parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. So now we want to do the opposite. We're either probably going to add or subtract first, then we'll end up multiplying or dividing, then doing exponents, and so on. Remove fractions by multiplying by the reciprocal. And the last step is normally to divide by whatever is next to your variable. So let's get started. On number 9, it says A equals 1/2 times B times H. And it asked me to solve for H. I did want to bring up, just in case you see this language on the state test, it may say this as the directions. Solve for H, which it does here, in terms of A and B. And all that really means is A and B are going to be in your answer, right? So you're going to solve for H, and A and B are going to be part of it. That's all it means. It's a fancy way of saying to solve for H. All right, so if I have, and I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my problem over here, A equals 1/2, that's like doing times B times H. So the first thing you want to think about is, well, I'm trying to isolate H. That's what I want to get by myself, by itself. So this is being multiplied. So my first step could be to divide both sides by B, because B divided by B cancels each other out. So now I'd be left with A over B equals 1/2 times H. So I'm almost there. But remember, to get rid of a fraction, we should multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1 over 2 is 2 over 1. But what I do to that side, I have to do to the other side. So my 2 over 1 cancels, and I'm left with just H. So now when I multiply, you just multiply fractions straight across. So 2 times A is 2A, and on the bottom, 1 times B is B. So I have solved this for H in terms of A and B, and that would be your answer. I'm going to let you try number 10 on your own. For number 11, we have K equals M times V squared divided by 2. So I'm trying to solve this for M. So that means I want to get this M all by itself, right there. All right, so first I'm going to have to get rid of that 2. That 2 is kind of acting as like this big bully that's in the way. So to get rid of 2, that's being divided by 2. And we know the opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. When I do that, I get 2K equals, the 2's cancel here, and then I have M times V squared. All right, again, my goal was to get this M by itself. And I'm multiplying by a V squared. So to undo multiplication, I just do division. That square is not hurting me. I don't have to do anything with it. So now I do have the M all by itself. So you would have 2K all over V squared equals M. So we have solved for M in terms of K and V. On number 13, it says P equals 2L plus 2W, and it wants me to solve for W. So I want to get that W all by itself. So think about if this was an equation. I'm just going to do a very random example real quick. But pretend, if it'll let me change colors, that I have 24 equals 2 plus 2W. Like, think about what you would do first. You would move this 2, right? You would move the 2 to the other side. We're going to do that exact same thing. Even though there's that P and L, we still use the same rules. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is that's a positive 2L, so I subtract 2L and put it on the other side. I really can't do anything with the P minus 2L because they're not like terms. So I'll just call it P minus 2L. On the right side, 2L minus 2L cancels, and I'm left with 2 times W. So remember, to undo your multiplication, we're going to divide. So my 2 divided by 2 cancels, and I am now left with just W, which is what they wanted. So this is your answer, P minus 2L all over 2. All right, number 15 says y equals mx plus b, solve for x. So we're going to solve for x in terms of y, m, and b. All right, so I'm trying to get this x all by itself. All right, so again, like over here, let's think. If I had 20 equals 2x plus 5, think about what would your first step be? It would be to subtract 5, right? Same thing over here, but I'm just going to subtract b. So I can't really subtract it, so I just write y minus b equals mx. B minus b is 0. So again, if I continue working our problem over here, I'd have 15 equals 2x. And think what you would do next. I would divide by 2, right? So I would get 7.5 equals x. So same thing over here. I don't have a 2, I have an m, but I still do the same math. So I'm going to divide by m. Look at that. The x is all by itself. So my answer is that whole thing, y minus b all over m. And that is your answer to that one. Let's try number 16. This one says a equals p plus p times r times t. And I'm trying to get t all by itself. It asked me to solve for t. All right. So you have to always move with not touching the p first. So I'm going to have to subtract this p and put it on the other side. When I do that, I get a minus p equals p times r times t. Well, those are all being multiplied, and I want to get this t by itself. And to undo multiplication, I just divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by pr. The p's cancel, the r's cancel, and I'm left with just t. So this is my answer, a minus p all over pr. All right, last couple here. So on this one we have c equals 5/9 times f minus 32, which, fun fact, this is converting between Celsius and Fahrenheit, our temperature. We want to solve for f, so f is here. So we've talked about this once and we read it in the directions. It says if you want to get rid of a fraction, you can multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to do that first to get rid of that ugly 5/9 fraction there. So I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal, which would be 9 over 5. But what I do to the right, I also have to do to the left. So my 5/9 and 9/5 cancel, and I am left with just that f minus 32. You can drop those parentheses now. And over here, it would just make 9/5 times c. My last step, if I'm trying to get the f all by itself, would be to move my minus 32. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 32. So it'd be 9/5 c plus 32 equals negative 32 and positive 32 cancel, and it equals just f. So that would be your answer to that one. Now go ahead and try number 18 on your own and make sure you also write it down on your paper.